opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. I hate to say it, but Bruce had to leave. He was falling asleep. Because he gets up at the crack of dawn. So it's going to be just me and Ruben. And I guess until Ruben says, see you later, alligator. I'll be by myself.
No. I know, but it's a sad thing because, again, like I said, it's nice to be here. It's a shit show. The world's a shit show. It's been a really rough week with a lot going on personally for me, but I'm here. And I didn't even know you were to still be here. One, condolences to your family and what you've been through. You know, when another passing. We did the show last week, but again, it's a shit show. It's for the Friday. We're here, but I don't have alcohol right now. Well, I do have alcohol. Shit, I actually do.
Well, I do, but I haven't gone and got any. But maybe I should have.
Where to go, man?
Make the show a little more fun. But last Friday I didn't do a show because I had found out someone in my family, close to my family, passed away. But we knew he wasn't doing very well. He had prostate cancer and a few other problems. And but it's never a nice, to find out that someone passes away. And it just seems like I've had so many friends and family members that have passed away in the last 6 months. And that's really hard to deal with. But the one thing that made me feel better was when I started thinking about him being with his wife and his daughter that passed away and other family members that were waiting for him because it was his turn. And, I'm just, that's how I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, and Monday is the actual service. So I will drive back to Texas Sunday and be there for the Monday service. And then I'll drive back home on Tuesday. So it should be beautiful because the church, they're having a church service. And then it's like an hour or a little over hour drive from the church to the actual cemetery where we'll have the burial. And he's going to have like a military funeral. So it's going to be beautiful. But when they play taps, I know I'm not going to be able to make it through that very easy. But yeah, it's always tough when you lose someone you care about.
Yeah, it is true. Yep, that is. But at least we're here now. Again, can you believe it's May of 2025? And we officially started on time. Officially, because again, I was looking at the clock. It was like right at 9:10.
Yeah, because that's what I normally do it is at 9:10. I like that. But I'm going to say, I'm just sharing everybody's chat. Hello. Thank you, everybody, so far that's joining us. And I really appreciate everybody stopping in and supporting me on the channel. And what is it? Says he's still sick. He's recovering. Dated flu. Oh, I know. Sometimes the flu is really crappy. So just make sure you stay hydrated. That's the number one thing. And a lot of people say, "Oh, take lots of vitamin C," but you know what I tell people? Eat oranges. Get natural vitamin C. And even though you don't feel good, if you can just go sit on your back porch or whatever for a little while each day for like 30 minutes and let your skin, some of your skin actually get some sun where your body makes its own vitamin D, that's even better for you if you can do that. It's the sun it's for us. I mean, it will help you. It kills bacteria and it can help you get well. So, I'm
eating bananas and working out my feet. So I have the dick and balls to get it playing.
Yeah, I still have a warning on my channel from January of last year.
For what?
For one of the things that I did for medical misinformation, and I've written them, and I took the class, and I did the little survey and everything, and I still have it. And there's no way to get a hold of anyone to tell them, hey, why do I still have something up from last year? It's over a year old, from January of last year, and I still have a warning. So if I get another warning, that's a strike, right? So it's like that's why I try to be really careful, because I'm already got a strike against me almost. But
let's be very let's just have, like I said, we talked before the show. Let's just not be non-controversial. There's something to talk about that has any controversy or anything.
Oh, there's no such thing. Not when it comes to YouTube.
I know.
They hate
Here is
everything
the
I
truth.
talk about.
But the truth is, like I said in the back,
Yeah,
the shit show is pointing out the absurdity of what's going on. And what I had said back, and we'll say it true, every story that we have seen now that we talk about, like, be it, black and white, be it what people say, be it what is being touted by the media, we have to understand, and everybody in the chat should realize that it's all to manipulate you to feel unrest, to feel chaos, to feel an emotion that is not good. Okay, and that's the thing. It's done on purpose. And if once you recognize that they can't, they fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So it's done. We've been through all this since 2020. Enough of this crap.
yeah. Well, I wanted to start off by playing something funny, because I like to try to do that. So I got a couple little things I wanted to play that are funny. So here's the first one. It says, "Bro is fighting for his life." So I thought this was funny, but here we go. Push play.
Next to me, guilt is burning, inside I'm hurting. Seen I can keep.
I'm gonna turn off the music so you guys I don't want to get in trouble, but watch this guy. She's having fun, but he does not look like he's enjoying this at all. It's pitiful, isn't it?
Blame it on me. Blame it on the night.
Oh my God, look at him. His knuckles are white. His knuckles are turning white. I hope he doesn't go up, but watch this guy. And look at her. She's realizing he's not enjoying himself. He's got his eyes closed. And he's done. Oh my God. But look at her. She is having so much fun. I'd probably get sick too. I mean, that looks like a really rough roller coaster. I don't know where it is, but it looks really scary. But look at him. Oh, poor guy. He barely made it through that thing, but I wanted to share that. See, not everyone likes roller coasters, and I'm one of those people. I do like some if they don't have lots of loop-de-de-loops and all that stuff, but I really can't take if they're spinning and stuff like that, like swings. What are those things? The swings that just go around.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I like the ones that go back and forth. It's the ones that you're just spinning.
Oh, the ones that spin around.
Oh,
that's the intention. There are ones that do this, and then there are ones that get at a certain point, and then they pivot and they go. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's like I didn't go on any like a roller coaster until I was what 29. Well, whatever. Everything happened late for me, because I didn't really care for it. Whatever. I did it. I made fun of it. It was like it was actually here in Great America. A friend of mine, Melissa, her daughter was having a birthday. This is back, my God, like over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And we took the kid to see the Great America, whatever it was. And I said, let me go on the rides. We follow the kid. So it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You had that experience. So it was fun. But it was more for the kid. But it was just, it was good. But yeah, you have to enjoy life in that regard.
Yeah, well, this is another thing.
This is
this I really like because I just love this guy. This guy is freaking awesome. And if I ever meet him in person, I'm going to get his autograph because I just think he is so awesome. Just the way he handles things. Now you can see this really good.
Zero fucks given for this.
This is awesome. So here we go.
And one on Abrego Garcia, please. The administration is reportedly inquiring about his return. Is that to check a box for compliance, or does President Trump want him back on U.S. soil, or both?
So, as Secretary Rubio said yesterday in the cabinet meeting, this administration is not going to publicly discuss the inside details of our foreign policy and negotiations with a foreign country. And in particular, we are not going to allow a district court judge to try to become the Secretary of State. Secretary Rubio is the one who, under his leadership and direction at the State Department, is managing the day-to-day relationship with El Salvador. Let's just take a moment, number one, to express our gratitude to El Salvador for agreeing to take some of the most dangerous terrorists off of America's streets and to put them into a safe environment where they cannot continue to engage in acts of terrorism or coordination with the Maduro regime. You may have seen recently an FBI assessment that was unclassified that said that the Maduro regime is using and planning to use trained Nicaragua terrorists to carry out assassination plots on American soil. Now, very few in this room covered that. I'll let you all ask yourselves why you didn't cover it and why your editors didn't assign that story to you. Something I think you should think about on your own. But this is a earth-shattering piece of news. The Biden administration imported a terrorist army that our own FBI assesses is planning assassination strikes on American soil against critics of the Maduro regime. Those are the terrorists that President Trump is finding and apprehending that our Democrat judges and Democrat activists are trying to keep on U.S. soil. Trained Nicaragua has the same legal status as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. MS-13 has the same legal status as Al-Qaeda and ISIS. These are foreign terrorists operating on our soil. And our gratitude to El Salvador for agreeing to take custody of these terrorists is immense. With respect to the case that you mentioned, there's not even been more evidence that has been made public of this person's violent, repeated threats and assaults against his spouse, someone who had repeated, documented human trafficking and human smuggling offenses, somebody that has extensively documented membership in MS-13, a terrorist organization, and of course he had MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. This is a person that was a clear and present danger to the safety of the American people. And it is a sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shill for this MS-13 terrorist. Well, no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were raped and tortured and murdered by the illegals that Biden was importing into our country. You know, you talk about due process. The Biden administration made the decision to give extensive due process to two trained Nicaragua terrorists that were apprehended at the border just a couple years ago. They were two gentlemen. They were from Venezuela. They were members of trained Nicaragua. The Biden administration Border Patrol apprehended them and made the decision to provide them with extensive due process, put them onto a program known as supervised release, and put them on ankle monitors so that they could go through a lengthy legal judicial determination as to whether these legal aliens who had just set foot on U.S. soil might want to live in the United States for the rest of their lives. What was the result of that decision? What was the result of that choice that was made? Those two men kidnapped a young girl named Jocelyn Ungary from her family. They beat her. They sexually assaulted her. They tortured her. They stripped her. They murdered her, and they dumped her body. That is what the Biden administration's policy was. Most of your papers never covered her story when it happened. To the extent that you covered it at all, it was because President Trump forced you to cover it by highlighting it repeatedly over and over again. He had to shame you into covering it. And each and every one of you that sides over and over again with these MS-13 terrorists, to the extent that you have the financial means to do so, you all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or trained Nicaragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage, are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So you're not going to get an ounce of sympathy from this administration or President Trump for the terrorists who've invaded our homes and our country.
I want to do this one.
Yeah, but the thing is that
I love
we
him.
see that on YouTube or more X or Rumble, but the local news won't show it. They won't cover it. They don't
because
care.
they're paid to not.
Yeah, but we're at the point now where we're getting the updates regarding payments to the Taliban, child trafficking being done by the U.S. government, which we already knew. Here's a proof, and it's like chirp, 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 because they're not saying it. The news is not saying it. So the news is basically all bullshit.
Well, I was gonna do this next, but first I got to do this.
Muy
Okay.
caliente.
Yeah, hot news. This is hot news. I thought this was freaking awesome because remember I played this a while back after it happened when she accidentally opened the door before she was supposed to. Katy Perry, in the fake outer space incident or whatever. Well, they say that Katy Perry is now getting sued for screwing it up for this guy. What was his name again?
But wait a minute. The truth is, how is she being screwed? She just lost her Prime membership.
She's being sued.
I know.
What?
I know.
In a turn of events more dramatic than a Hollywood sci-fi blockbuster, Jeff Bezos, billionaire founder of Amazon and space tourism frontman, has filed a jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit against pop superstar Katy Perry. The reason? According to Bezos, Perry allegedly blew the lid off what was meant to be a tightly choreographed, PR-perfect space tourism stunt by opening the capsule from the inside, exposing the entire operation, and turning what was supposed to be a historic moment into an embarrassing media circus. The legal documents filed are nothing short of explosive. Bezos, through his legal team, claims that Perry violated direct instructions and internal protocol, effectively sabotaging the space capsule's grand reveal. In what Bezos describes as a devastating mistake, Perry opened the capsule hatch from the inside before Bezos could make his choreographed external appearance, exposing what he claims was a simulation environment meant solely for visual and promotional effect. To put it plainly, the Amazon founder is accusing Katy Perry of exposing the alleged truth behind a heavily publicized spaceflight, that it never left Earth. What was supposed to be Blue Origin's glittering moment, featuring Katy Perry as the surprise celebrity guest aboard the next-gen capsule, has instead spiraled into an all-out media frenzy. The stunt, meant to reinforce Bezos' space empire as not only revolutionary but also pop culture relevant, backfired in the most catastrophic fashion. Perry's simple action, pushing the wrong button, or the right one depending on who you ask, has now triggered a war between two of the biggest names in their respective fields. According to insiders, the capsule was staged to appear as though it had re-entered Earth's atmosphere after orbiting the planet. Bezos was supposed to dramatically open the door from the outside, helping Perry out as cameras rolled and drones captured every second for a heavily produced live stream. Instead, the pop icon reportedly unlatched the inner handle and stepped out by herself, leaving technicians, PR handlers, and Bezos himself in complete disarray. The result? Media outlets and internet sleuths immediately began speculating. Sharp-eyed viewers noted that there was no re-entry scorch marks, no landing gear marks on the desert floor, and worse, there were background noises in the live stream that suggested they were in a soundstage. The timeline of the space flight was quickly dissected and doubted. In less than 24 hours, hashtags like #BezosGate and #SpaceHoax trended worldwide. Jeff Bezos, the man whose wealth and ambition have practically redefined 21st century capitalism, now finds himself on the defensive. His team argues that the exposure has not only hurt the credibility of Blue Origin, but also scared off investors, shaken corporate partnerships, and ignited what could be a long-term PR disaster. Perry is reportedly lawyering up, and her camp may be preparing to countersue, alleging she was set up as a scapegoat for an already risky stunt that was bound to unravel. Insiders hint that Perry was uncomfortable with aspects of the mission, but was reassured repeatedly that everything was under control. The irony is thick. A pop star unintentionally becomes the whistleblower on what may have been the most elaborate space PR fabrication in history. According to one person close to the billionaire, this lawsuit isn't just about recouping financial losses. It's about sending a message to anyone who might disrupt the narrative. You don't just walk out of $1 billion simulation like it's a backstage tent, the source quipped. As legal analysts dive into the case, many are asking deeper questions. If this was all truly a simulation, was the public misled? Were investors duped? Was it even legal to present a non-space flight as an actual mission? If Perry's move cracked open the door, literally and metaphorically, what else will come tumbling out? As the dust settles, Jeff Bezos is finding himself in a PR nightmare of unprecedented proportions. The billionaire, who once seemed untouchable, has attempted every trick in the book to cover up what was clearly an ill-conceived stunt, but the truth has already leaked out, and it's gone viral. The whole fiasco started when Katy Perry boarded Blue Origin's space capsule. Critics slammed his PR team for attempting to cover up what they described as a blatant manipulation of public trust. The truth was out, and no amount of spin or damage control could undo the growing public outrage. In an era where authenticity is everything, this scandal struck at the core of what space tourism is supposed to represent: a future of exploration, discovery, and adventure. Instead, it had been reduced to a showbiz stunt. Fans who had believed in the promise of space exploration were left feeling betrayed, and Bezos was now the face of a high-profile marketing disaster. Social media users flocked to Twitter and Instagram, sharing memes and videos, mocking Bezos and his company for their failed attempt at space tourism. The hashtag Bezos space hoax trended worldwide as more and more people exposed the ridiculous nature of the event. Online commentators and influencers posted side-by-side comparisons of Blue Origin's space flight and footage from major Hollywood blockbusters, revealing how similar they were in style and execution. It was becoming clear that the only thing out of this world was the level of deception. With the lawsuit now in full swing, the battle between Bezos and Perry has taken on a new level of intensity. Many are speculating that Perry may have unintentionally sparked a domino effect, unraveling a larger web of falsehoods about the so-called space tourism industry. The question on everyone's mind is whether this will be the end of Jeff Bezos' dominance in the space race, or merely a temporary setback. While Bezos' legal team prepares to fight for the $50 million he claims to have lost in potential revenue and brand damage, there are growing calls for a deeper investigation into the broader issues surrounding space tourism. Is this just the beginning of a much bigger story? And could other space ventures, including those led by billionaires like Elon Musk and Richard Branson, also face the spotlight? For now, the world watches as Bezos and Perry square off in what could be the most sensational celebrity lawsuit of the decade. One thing is for certain: the internet's fascination with the hashtag Bezos space hoax isn't going away anytime soon. As more information comes to light, it will only fuel the already fiery debate over the future of space exploration and the lengths to which billionaires will go to create their own version of reality.
Well, what did you think about all that? Remember we talked about it and you said that
Okay.
it was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
all
Okay.
this
This
stuff.
is a fake video.
Mhm.
It's not a real video. You just showed a fake video.
Well, not a lot of people don't think it's fake.
No. The video you just showed is fake.
So she's
The
not
video
being
showed-
sued?
No, she's not. The first, and again, this is where we get the flat earther crap again happening.
Mhm.
Did they go to space? Yes. Did they go? They did it suborbital flight. It's a space flight. It's considered
Yeah,
space.
I
15 minutes, whatever.
believe. No, I
Yeah.
believe that they did go to the whatever, the outer atmosphere.
Right.
I do believe that. But
Right.
when I was talking about the whole thing where they were setting it up to make it look like Bezos is coming over and opening the door and all that, and somebody opened the door from the inside, and I said they fucked up.
Yeah, they
Remember?
did.
Okay.
What the fuck up was with.
That's what
Sorry,
I'm
the-
talking about. Not
No,
the
no, but
fact that I believe that they did go up there,
right.
and I don't think that is
I know,
why
but what?
that
But
part
what,
of it being on there, that's just someone's point of view. But what I believe is that he really is pissed because he didn't get the outcome that he expected, because the door was opened beforehand, because immediately it was on TikTok, it was on Instagram, it was
Yeah,
on
but the way it was
Rumble and all
done,
that stuff.
yeah, yeah, because again, the way that they did it's set up that they pre-open it for him because he doesn't want to go there and not be able to open it. So they
Yeah.
open it beforehand for him.
Mhm.
Then they do it. So what happened is that it was a mistiming of
Mhm.
everything. So then people now took that as, oh, space. There's no such thing as space. That's what this proves it. All of this and going
Well,
through
yeah,
all these things that they're
those
showing you.
people are going to say that stuff, but the thing is when the night that
But
I showed it
that's
the first time,
yeah.
I was saying that was going to cause Bezos a lot of problems because he's trying to start a business to where people will pay him to go up there, just like what happened. Remember, I said I was so excited when William Shatner got to do it that I even
Yeah.
cried because I was so
Right.
happy.
Yeah,
He
but
had to
that's
do it. So I do believe that we can do that and come back. Okay.
yeah.
It's just the fact when you try to set things up and make it look a certain way, instead of just letting it unfold, because nowadays when people can just pull their
But
camera out anywhere,
I
and
know, but
share it.
you're yeah. Well, go ahead.
That
You're not focusing on the right thing. You're people are focusing on the wrong thing, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. And that's part of the problem is now that everyone and their brother has a cell phone, okay, you can't just fake shit. It's not going to be as easy to fake stuff unless it's totally controlled like they would on a movie set. Even
Yeah, like
then, you can't control everything because someone's going to sneak a phone in
right.
and videotape it.
But what really pisses me off is when people say that it's fake. See they're in a soundstage. They're not in a soundstage.
No,
Stop saying that shit.
That's
That's dumb. But
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. And then people saying that talk about that we're on a flat Earth or we're not spinning or whatever this bullshit and going, oh, shut up, stop your bullshit. I'm just done with
But
this
see,
crap.
what I'm thinking is what I wanted to show this is the reason what I'm thinking this is that because of the mistake that somebody made and opened the door before Bezos got to get up there, and whoever it was that filmed it and actually put it out there for money or whatever reason they did to show that that part was set up, a fake, okay, that Bezos didn't really open the door, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Okay.
Right.
Now, the reason I think that this is out and that this group of people from is it Hollywood Access or whatever put this video out is to get people talking about it again. Okay.
Yeah.
Because even
Again,
bad publicity, okay, yeah, even bad publicity are clicks. And every single
but
click
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. But this goes back to what I said before at the very beginning. Everything.
Bezos and all of these people are involved in it, is what I'm thinking.
No, but it hasn't. Again, this is again
involved in making this video is what I'm trying to say.
No,
We're gonna find out because I think this video is made for hype to get more people talking about Bezos's going to outer space and that it's real because they really did go to the outer atmosphere. Because I've seen
but all I'm saying is this video is complete 100% fake. It should be removed from YouTube because it's not correct. There's no suing, there's no nothing, and it just basically continues to add people that will not understand that will deny space. We went to the moon, deny that we're in space now, deny the spacewalks, deny all this crap, and I'm done with it. No, we're not doing it.
Yeah, I don't believe in a flat Earth. I believe the Earth is round. I mean, I believe they were up there. Some of the things that we saw in the video with the girl's hair and certain things they were able to do, you can't fake that. Okay, so far as I know, I've never seen anyone be able to fake weightlessness. Okay, they do really good in movies, but that's with a lot of editing and things like that. So no, I believe they did do that. The only thing that I think was fake was they were trying to make it look like Bezos was the one opening the hatch.
Yes,
and I said that
it was all set for that, and then
but I think all of this is to get this back out there, get people talking about it for something new. So we're gonna something new.
Yeah,
About to happen. I don't know
it's
what
to
it
make,
is.
people. It was to make people dumber and not think that space is real again. And you get all
Well,
these fucking idiots. I'm done
maybe
with these.
some
Yeah,
dumbasses are going to think that, but see,
yeah.
I don't. What I think this is to get more clicks, because something else that Bezos is about to do is about to come up, and they're trying to get the
Okay.
because the spark
Well, we'll
wasn't
see.
as big as they'd hoped the last time. So that's
Right.
the reason why I want to share that, because that's what I think. So keep an eye out, you guys. Something
Then
else is about to happen.
this is where,
That whole
but
situation.
like as we saw like with Bezos, with Rings of Power, all the crap that he did with their Wheel of Time, all that crap there.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
lost $1 billion, dude. You lost $1 billion, and then you did this stunt. You're losing $1 billion more. It's like he did an all woman crew. It's like you just did the space equivalent of Rings of Power, and
Yeah.
no one's falling for this shit anymore.
Yeah,
So
and the whole thing with all the women, remember I just said that's so old. You know, it's old news to push the whole thing with the all
sex.
girls.
Oh, look, first women,
Yeah.
first all woman crew, first. Who cares?
All that is it's just dumb, because unless every person that shot the rocket off in the first place was a woman, then it wasn't real. You see what I mean? Every single person involved in getting it to fly out to outer space would have to have been a woman for it to actually be a woman. Yeah. See what I mean? It's just stupid, and it's all stunt, and hopefully it backfires. But I'm expecting something new. I just don't know what it's going to be, but I'm trying to keep an eye out, because something else is coming out.
Yeah, but the thing is, they weren't. They're not. They are they astronauts? No. Are they space tourists? Yes. You were a space tourist. That's all they did. They sat up there,
sit in a chair, and go up there,
and then
float around, and come back
pretty.
down. That's just like me getting in a plane, strapping myself to a person.
I'm a pilot,
plane, right? But I'm tandem diving. I'm not a
parachute driver.
You see, I'm not a parachutist, because I'm not doing it myself. I'm not taking any classes or doing anything. All I'm doing is strapping myself to another person and jumping out of a plane. I'm not doing anything. See what I mean? So to me, what they did is exactly the same as that. They are along for the ride. That was it. And they're using Katy Perry's name because Katy Perry's famous, you see, compared to the other girls that were on the flight with her. So
I'm confused.
we'll see. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share it because we had talked about it before, and I said that's going to come back, and they're going to use that somehow.
Next thing you're going to say it's 6,000 years old. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's only a few weeks old, but
no. I'm talking about the Earth. Those people that believe it's 6,000 years old.
But the next thing I wanted to share, I thought was pretty good. This was my I think it's this one. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is the next one. This is another Trump win, and I wanted to share it. This little news thing, because it's good to hear some good news when they just do nothing but bash Trump all the time on the news. So I wanted to share.
We have breaking news. ABC News and George Stephanopoulos have reached a settlement with President-elect Trump in his defamation lawsuit. The network agrees to pay $15 million as a charitable contribution to Trump's presidential library. ABC and Stephanopoulos will also issue statements of regret as an editor's note to the March 2024 article and television segment that prompted Trump to file the lawsuit earlier this year. Trump sued Stephanopoulos after he asserted in an interview that Trump was found, quote, liable for rape in a civil case, despite the fact that a jury actually determined Trump was liable for quote, sexual abuse, which has a distinct definition under New York law.
Yeah, so little tiny things like that, which nobody talks about really, is showing that the media is still very biased against Trump. It doesn't matter what good Trump does, just like what we just saw in the opening thing when he was talking about how they're all just sitting there, crickets are chirping because they don't give a shit about facts. They don't give a shit about truth. They just want to say whatever they're told to say. And that's why when you change a channel, you pretty much hear the same thing on that one, on that one, on that one. They're all saying the exact same shit because they all have the same printout, to read. And, we're all getting like, oh, it's so sick of it. But it's nice that once in a while find out that some judges are finally ruling in Trump's favor. Little by little, but not as much as we wish we had, but hopefully it'll get a little bit better. But here's another one I thought was pretty good for tonight. Let's see. I think it's, here we go. This is the one I wanted to share with Jesse going to Doge. Did you get to watch that?
I saw a little bit of it. I've been doing other things. I did see the interview. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. I thought we were going to talk about this a little.
Tonight, our exclusive look into Doge. Elon Musk was nice enough to invite us into the Eisenhower building last night to sit in on his weekly 10 p.m. Doge meeting. Yeah, they usually meet at 10 o'clock. I'm almost in bed by then. We met the whole crew, even Big Balls, and they showed us how Doge really gets done. We sat back, listened, and we learned a lot, and we hope you do too. Here's part one of our exclusive interview. Elon, thank you so much for bringing us into the meeting here. I'm going to do something no anchor ever does. I'm not going to talk.
What?
For as long as possible.
You're talking right now.
I'm going to let you run your meeting, and then I'll interrupt when I'm bored. So take it away.
So, like a board meeting.
Like a board meeting. Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we normally go around the table, say what do we get done this week?
Want to go this way?
Sure. No, we start with you.
Sure. So actually, a lot of great work in the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, et cetera. And so the one change that Doge made with Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
yes,
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. And but as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums. For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally renting out stadiums.
What's $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud infragante delicto, okay? We're talking at scale.
This is driving me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
When you find these things, do you guys get mad? You're like, yes, I got one. How does it make you feel?
It's so common.
It's so common. I mean, you just get
numb to it.
Unfortunately, by the 100th time you've heard it, it's hard not to get a little numb.
Yeah.
You know, but and by the 200th time, you're like, well, okay, it's just another day at the office.
We checked, is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total. So
people with a birthday that could not possibly be real.
Yeah.
Meaning they're over 100. They're 115 years old or older. The oldest living American is 114. So it's safe to say if anybody is in the system as 115 years or older, That is fake.
And so just by sharing a database and looking at social security numbers that showed that at the time of the loan, they had listed as over 115 years old, or actually under 11. We didn't even check for under 18.
Babies and dead
under 11 years old. That's pretty clear.
Babies
right?
and dead people who are getting loans.
That was $660 million.
And also people with birth dates in the future.
What does that mean?
Well, in one case, I mean, I think the birth date, I think in one case was like
fetuses were getting
no, not even. No, really sort of you're talking about like your great grandchildren, like with the birth date, like I think it was like 2165. So more than a century from now was the birth date.
George Jetson was getting paid.
Yes, because your birthday is in the future, like the far future, not like next year.
Right.
And this is either fraudulent or we have your birthday wrong.
It's one of a typo or someone stealing.
Which is it? Yes.
Right.
Yes. You should at least ask, which is it?
Do you guys feel you're getting justice and accountability?
Jesus, it's crazy.
One of the extreme examples of non-accountability in some cases has occurred at some of the small agencies. I think the Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is one of the agencies we visited where, they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like, alpaca farming in Peru, improving them.
That's a real example.
Yes, that's the real description.
Wait, pause it real quick. Pause it real quick.
Marketability of cheese in Guatemala.
Pause.
Really?
Fruit.
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie Dave?
Yeah, I think so.
With what about the guy that was appeared to be the president, and it was all the plot was about him uncovering waste and saving money, and he was deemed as a hero. It's happening for real, and you see it here in front of you. This should be on every headline news, biggest news thing, scandal of U.S. government corruption, but it's not.
Yeah, it should be. Just like I said, nobody is talking about it. How much money do you think that just them going through this stuff has saved us? You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, saved our country. We're trillions of dollars in debt. And all those guys you see sitting at the table are all saving us money.
Yep.
Just by every little thing that they've found. And just like he said, the one thing, all we asked them to do to get money from this little department in the Treasury was they had to put in a receipt to say, okay, well, I want to go buy me some blow-up dolls and some alcohol because I want to do this party or whatever. So here's my receipt, okay, and upload it, whatever, right? But because they asked for something to prove what they were doing, they all chickened out and nobody's asked for money.
Right.
See,
right.
How can this keep going on and nobody talks about it? It's shocking to me. I mean, who doesn't want to save money? If you knew that your one of your kids or your spouse was secretly going and withdrawing money, okay, in your savings account. Let's say you're trying to fill the savings account for your vacation and you're putting in $500 a month. But every time you go to get the little printout that shows you how much money you've saved, you're like, how come my $500 lower than what I thought I was supposed to have? And they say, well, I'm sorry, here's your printout. And it shows that there's a withdrawal here and a withdrawal there. But you go and you talk to your wife and your kids and they say, I didn't take the money. So you keep going back to the bank trying to find out where the money went and who took it out. And you end up finding out it was your kids and your wife. But because nobody was stopping them from taking it, they just kept taking it out. So you're never going to reach your goal that you thought you were going to get because people are taking money out without asking for it, without getting permission. So there's never a balance at all. Now, if it was your house, what would you do? You would do whatever you could and say, stop taking money until we can get this goal. We're never going on a vacation. Okay, so maybe they'll listen. It's not any different with this, at least it shouldn't be. But see, it's not their money, so they don't give a shit. See, they're going to take out all they can get because there's no way for them to be punished for it.
Yeah.
So that's what's it's just
Oh,
pathetic
God.
to me that they're getting away with it, and how ridiculous this all is. And these are all young people that are just trying to figure out the same thing we're trying to figure out. Why are they taking this money?
Exactly.
And it's their money too. Every single person at this table is paying taxes too. So it's their money that's being spent by all these people to do whatever they want with it, because they've had no leash at all for who knows how long.
Correct.
Jam.
Oh,
Yes.
What? Yeah.
So you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90% of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%. So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're defining exactly, I mean, to Ethan's example is that even if you agreed with supporting alpaca farmers in Peru, well, actually, most of the money never made it out of DC.
Mm-hmm.
It's going into the pockets of people in the neighborhood.
What percentage?
Didn't even get to Peru.
Right. So what percentage do you think doesn't even get to the destination it's supposed to?
I believe the GAO estimates, this is not our estimate, I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient, whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor,
peeling the onion. Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion, there's nothing there.
So maybe no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
It's possible that no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
I overheard a contractor tell one of her colleagues to falsify billable hours by creating a PowerPoint to mask a delay in the onboarding process in front of me. And this is like hour zero at this agency.
Jeez.
And so, I mean, this is just a common theme that you take a look at these contracts, you take a look at these grants, and it's veiled in noble rhetoric. It's at the top level. It
sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And then you actually just follow what are the funds actually doing?
Or send us a picture.
Exactly. And
the send us a picture request is incredibly good. But Pixar didn't happen. And then they're like, and it wouldn't be that hard to just, frankly, they could search for some fake pics on the internet or get AI to generate the pics, but they don't even bother doing that.
So you caught them cold billing fraud.
Oh, I caught them, her advising her colleague to do this because it takes a few days to onboard. So that is being investigated right now.
Yeah, I mean, generally, like these programs, these grants are going to be like along the lines of save the baby pandas. And it's like, well, of course, who wouldn't want to save the baby pandas? And in some cases, they've got a show panda, which they will trot out for special occasions. In a lot of cases, they don't even have a show panda.
No panda.
There's not even one panda. Because we asked for pictures, and we don't even get one panda. And it's like, well, that's a lot of, what does $1 billion get you? Does it not even get you one panda?
You really want to see a baby panda?
Yeah, like the Ebola money. We're like, okay, well, we agree with we shouldn't have Ebola. Where is the money going? Oh, it's going to Deloitte in DC. Like, what is an accounting firm doing with Ebola money?
What has been the biggest resistance? Is there one agency? Is there one department that when you guys walk in, they all start fighting you, start hiding
Wait, I thought
things?
you weren't going to talk.
I'm sorry.
But I guess you can answer that question. Sure. I mean, yes, we've certainly had some battles.
Battles.
Yeah. I mean, who should talk about you, sir?
Oh, Nate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's an agency, a small agency called the United States Institute of Peace. It's definitely the agency we had the most fight at. We actually went into the agency and found that they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters. Institute for Peace.
Yeah, I better go.
I mean, any given company, any given organizational name is going to be the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got to go.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm tired.
Okay.
I can't stay awake.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
guys. It's been a rough week. Like everyone knows what's been going on with me, with everything going on with my brother and all that stuff. So lots going on. So still doing it, but it's been a very rough day. Not a good day, but a lot of very busy day. But I'm very tired. But follow me on my X account. We're posting more information there regarding his condition and everything that's going on. But keep everybody in your prayers. Stay good, guys, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Well, you get some rest.
Yes. Be good. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Oh well, I guess it's down to me now. Hopefully I won't bore you to death, but I can keep playing this because it's just interesting how much bullshit they are pulling out. It's getting so monotonous because it's hard to really absorb how ridiculous some of this stuff is. Like, who knew there were this many institutions and offices that money just flows through, that they can just come in and take money and spend it on whatever it is they want? Where did all of this come from? How did all of this just appear under our noses? And we're going to work and it says FICA on our check, but do we even know what FICA means anymore? I mean, because when you're going to hear here in a little bit, when they talk about the original 4 organizations, basically, that we used to have, it's just interesting to me, and nobody talks about it. Okay, we do have on X, there's Doge on there, and I tried to share the link, and I was trying to fix that before I got the message from Ruben that he had to leave because he's tired, he doesn't feel very good, but neither did Bruce earlier, and that's right, he had to leave. So it's just me, and I slept in this morning, so I got a little bit of sleep, so I'll be able to do a little more. But it's the thing is, I don't watch television. The only stuff that I watch is YouTube, Rumble. I do watch some movies, like I went to the movies and saw Sinners last week, and it was really, really good. And because I want to keep open our movie theater because it's not real big and it's in the country. And I want to support them. And I've always tried to, even when it was COVID, it was open, and I would, hold my mask over my face and run and get my seat and sit down and watch the movie. So I really do want to support my community the best I can when I'm allotted, a chance to do that. But this is a ridiculous mess that we're in. And I have sisters that don't know anything about it. I mean, they've heard of it, but they don't know what they do. They don't realize what they found. And I asked her, I said, well, don't you even talk about this stuff when you go to your church group meetings and stuff? And they said, no. So I just don't understand how we're supposed to fix this stuff when no one seems to care that it's even happened, and that they don't even want to fix it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't understand. It doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem factual because nobody acts like they give a shit. I mean, they're taking your money out of your checks. They're taking your money, trillions of dollars, and they just keep taking and taking and taking, and nobody's doing anything. But we have some people trying to do something. They're trying to bring it to your attention, and so few people actually care. And then you have people out there bitching and moaning, holding signs about how much they hate Elon Musk. They want to destroy his cars, his dealerships. They risk these people, they tell these people they want to kill him, his family members, Trump's family, anyone that's on the cabinet or anyone that's trying to fix our country are getting death threats. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm trying to make sense of it, but to me, it's just ridiculous. But when you listen to some of the stuff that they're doing and finding, I can't believe this isn't what everybody's talking about, because this is your money. This was money that would have been your great grandkids' money if it was still in the bank, or if it was still making money for our country, or building our roads, or building buildings, doing all the things that it's supposed to be doing when they take our taxes, going to our military, give our military raises. I don't know. It's just heartbreaking to me that this means so little to so many people that nobody talks about it. I mean, it's just sickening to me. It's what it is.
Yeah, and so it was by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with, ironically.
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban. This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Okay, they're spending money like this on private jets. I know people right now that live in a trailer house and they can barely keep their car running just to go to work. Okay. And these people are taking money out of those people's checks that can barely get to work because their vehicles are having a hard time keeping them running. And these people are taking money from them and taking rides on jets and stuff like that. It's disgusting. This is repulsive, disgusting to me.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So as a contractor, they received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
or abroad.
Or nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, well, how did we get here? Like when the country was founded, there were only 4 agencies. Today, there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban. So
try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? And the Doge team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies. And this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yes.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
And this one, yes, a cover-up. Yeah.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going.
And when he said that, isn't it illegal to shred documents and stuff? Isn't that what Hillary Clinton did? Hillary Clinton shredded documents and beat up phones and bleach bit stuff and everything. And what did they do with her? Nothing. So I don't know. It's this two-sided government that we've had for so long, where one side can do anything they want to anyone they want, as we're seeing with all of the Epstein, the Diddy, all the stuff where people can just abuse children, traffic children, do whatever they want, and nothing happens to any of them, except the emotional breakdown and damage of young people's bodies and minds. They don't care about that, but don't dare put somebody in jail for committing a crime because they got the right letter next to the name. Stuff like that, I think, is disgusting. That's what all this is proving to me.
From taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ. We were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Resistance has shown up in some very surprising places. So for example, the famous fork in the road email, the deferred resignation program. So this was a program where you could resign from the government, collect pay and benefits for the next 8 months. Probably the most attractive separation program ever in human history. And the resistance actually came from the outside with people saying this is a trick. And I heard somebody refer to it as an apple with a razor blade. And no, this was just a really juicy apple, caramel dipped apple. It was that good, but people were talked out of taking it. And now what started to happen is we did have about 80,000 people take it. And now those folks who did take it are on the beach or they've moved on to a new job and they're still getting paid. And so now we're starting to offer Fork 2 and Fork 3, where people can see that someone's eaten this apple and it was actually really tasty and good for them.
Is Doge just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things that, like, we're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud, and that will at least slow it down.
Elon Musk shows primetime the cave, the money faucet, and the Stone Age phones. Right back.
Well, right here, I want to stop for a second. I mean, if you think about it and you look back when Obama was president, he supposedly the one who started the Department of Government Efficiency. Okay, they were talking about this off and on since all this stink started with Doge, and he put Biden in charge of it. Right. So Biden and all his people, mostly his people, I guess, because Biden didn't even know who he was most of the time. And he was just going downhill. And if it wasn't for all the drugs, he probably wouldn't even been able to walk around and do stuff. We're finding out that they knew about all that, too. And they covered that up. They're pretty good at it. Democrats are really good at taking other people's money and doing what they want with it and not get caught. Keep doing it because Republicans don't do anything. We have weak Republicans basically, and it's pathetic. It really is pathetic because remember when Trump's first 2 years in office when he was elected, he had all the people he needed to pass stuff, and they kept saying when they were running, right? When Trump was running, oh, we're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of that. But what did they do? Nothing. They barely passed anything. And Trump had to do most of everything with executive orders. And that was before we got slapped upside the head by COVID, right? So COVID took a big chunk out of everything that Trump had planned on doing and forced all of us back in our homes where we belong, right? Unless you come out and get your jabs or whatever. But the thing is, it worked, okay? And what happened? We got another president that was able to get in office because of however they did it. But they were able to get in and man, they had that thing cranking. Phew, shoo, shoo, shoo. They're cranking that thing going, money going left, going right, going everywhere except to the people. Right? No money was coming back into our country. Jobs were leaving. Money was leaving. People were losing their jobs. Companies were closing down or going overseas. Everything to destroy this country. It was like they were trying to push it in overdrive because they said, we gotta do something. We gotta stop Trump. And they tried to shoot him and he still lived. Thank you, God, for intervening on that. But the thing is, they've done everything they could, every court they could think of to prosecute Trump and anyone who supported Trump, all the people that they lawfared, all that stuff. had all that going on, and it didn't work. Why? Because there was 77 million people that voted for Trump this time. Okay. They were all opened. Their eyes were opened. And they were like, this is bullshit. Look at all this shit that's going on. There's got to be something we can do. And more people were signing up to work the polls and trying to get people registered, trying to get more people to understand certain things that were going on and that we got to do something about it. And they were going into their towns and in their states and trying to make a difference, right? But so much has been pushed under the rug that when you pull the rug back, like when you go into a house that somebody had for 20 years and you're buying it, right? You got to pull the carpet out and put new carpet in. There's a lot of dirt and crap under there, isn't there? And that's where we're at. We're ripping the carpet out and we're finding all this crap that has to be cleaned up before you can put new carpet back. Because you don't just take the carpet out and put carpet on top of it with all that nasty shit under there, right? Why? Because it's just going to make the new carpet nasty faster. And basically what they're trying to do is clean this up so that one day when we have great grandchildren of our own, there's something for them. There's freedom. There's jobs. There's medicine and there's food. All the things that we should have in our country to be self-sustainable, we should have that. But the way we were going, we were basically selling off everything, our farmland, our rights, our churches. We're giving away everything to other countries and filling ourselves up with a bunch of people that hate this country. And if we don't fight for her, guys, it's gone. We'll be handing another country to our grandchildren and our great-grandkids one day if we don't keep fighting for it. So, yeah, we need to definitely stay on this and not let this be our legacy.
We're back, part two, the exclusive interview with Elon Musk and the Doge boys. They took us inside the caves of bureaucracy. Watch this. We heard about a cave. We had federal workers working in a cave.
That's me. Yeah.
Are they still?
Joe's actually been to the cave. Do you want to tell us about your cave? Your caving.
I wouldn't mind
You're
spelunking. So I've been helping out with retirement. And a few weeks ago, I had a chance to go to the mine. And so I took a golf cart through security down into the side of a mountain and entered daylight left. And I entered this whole space of caverns and roads. And we get to a metal door and I open it up. And there in front of me is a sea of filing cabinets from the 1960s. And I'm walking around, it's super chilly, smells like paper. And, I realize as a mine, it's a great mine. It's secure, it's well lit, temperature controlled. And so the question we're asking is not, is this a good place to store physical media, which it is. It's amazing for that. The question is, why are we still using paper in 2025? So I brought something to show you of what's inside the mine.
And normally, the normal process for retirement can be over 6 months. So once you file your retirement papers, that's why it takes 6 months.
What is that?
So these are replica case folders that people use to retire from the government. And so these are all compiled by hand, moved around on carts through the mine. It takes many months to do that. And this one is a single retiree's paper required to leave the government.
If somebody wants to retire, they can't because it takes 6 months to compile the paper and carry the paper into a mine where it is stored. And also all the calculations are done by hand.
Everything has
in
to be
2025.
reconciled, adjudicated. This is thicker than the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
And if I had to process this, I would rather do my taxes in the dark than have to go through this. And so what we're doing is we're bringing this process online with modern software. And I'm excited to share that as of tonight, we have 25 retirees going through an entirely online retirement process in the government for the very first time.
It sounds so simple.
Yes, and it's great collaboration with retirement services inside OPM. So this has always been their dream, and we're just here to help accelerate it.
That's a pretty fat stack. Was that Kissinger's?
The record is almost, several shopping carts.
There's a whole pallet for one retiree with 27 boxes of paper on it.
For one guy.
That's the record.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, it's certainly, and it also frees up people, because we shouldn't have over 1,000 people carrying paper into a mine. That is not a good use of people's lives. So there are many other things that they could do that would be far more productive than carrying paper into a mine.
If you were to say, we have iPhones, does the government have pay phones? Like, how prehistoric is this technology?
Oh, yes, it's very sorry.
It's very prehistoric.
It's like Flintstones.
It's Flintstone level stuff.
It's so prehistoric. Like dinosaurs would think this is, kind of old.
Okay.
That's how prehistoric it is.
Okay. So
basically the only thing living was a sponge. That's how prehistoric it was.
Okay, so we're leaving the Stone Age and we're moving into the Golden Age.
Pre-Cambrian era is what we're talking about.
Okay. There was a story I heard about mules. There were mules delivering mail to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Which might not be a bad thing, actually.
You have the mule picture.
Yeah.
Picture, it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, but this is a case where actually it might not. I think. Do we agree with the mule, or should there be mules?
I think it can be modernized.
There's opportunity for improvement.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Right. So I'm at the Postal Service. I think a lot of people don't realize that there's actually a law that says that the post office is supposed to have a balanced budget.
There is?
Yeah, there is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's not working, is it?
No, it's not.
So they're breaking the law.
They're breaking the law.
Okay.
Basically, since 2007, almost.
Before he finishes, I do want to say something. I do agree that we should have paper is safer. Okay. That's why I try to keep records also in paper form, not just digitally. Because if all your records for your bank account are all online and you don't have any paper forms at all that tells you how much money you have in your savings, how much you have in your checking, all the stuff that's information about your stocks and stuff like that. And let's say that some other country like China that hates us sends out a pulse and takes out our satellites and stuff, and our power grid goes down and stuff. How are you going to get money? How are you going to find out or go to the bank and say, I want to withdraw this much money, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to say, well, we have no way of telling us who you are and how much money you have in our bank, or even if you have an account in our bank. See what I mean? You're right. If it's on paper, you can prove that you have something. So what if they were to take the retirement person, filling everything out, and then print out a copy of the records that are digitized, and then put the digitized or the copy into somewhere and save it where it's safe, whatever that type of thing is. Still cutting down on everything because it's digitized, and now you have fewer stacks and stacks of papers because it's just a printout of what they had in the computer. So, or putting it on disk, where it's in you have boxes of disk instead of stacks and stacks of paper. I mean, there's other ways to make it more efficient, but also be able to cover our back for everyone, depending on where they retired from and how they keep the records. So I definitely agree with that kind of stuff. I think that could be.
So every year since 2007, they've lost money. So you might ask, what happened in 2007? So there was additional.
2007?
Yeah, there was additional regulation that went into place that essentially crippled them and put them down this not good path where they essentially are stuck in the past, as well as bleeding money left and right. So like, it's great. And we appreciate that the postal employees are willing to go to the hardest parts, like in this country. But we think that we can modernize it and help them become profitable. Right now, last year they lost $9.5 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Serious money.
We finally meet big balls. Up next. Part 3. Here's the interview with Elon Musk and the rest of the Doge crew. We finally asked the one question on our mind. Who's big balls?
That should be obvious.
Why do they call you big balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah.
So what do you
LinkedIn
do?
is so cringe.
What does big balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. And you're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
yeah, like what? That would be the response.
Is this the most basic responses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most common response.
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests that they make that very clear. I mean, I've been hanged in effigy many times. And there have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death, and also advocated for the death of the people at Doge.
Mm-hmm. I think the young folks of us have gotten email threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And if there's one, I think this is important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. Doge does not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is so much more vast than anything you could learn in a classroom doing computer science.
And you guys are sleeping here, I'm hearing. You guys are up all night. You have this meeting at 10 o'clock every Wednesday?
We'll probably go back to work right after this.
Yeah.
You're going back to work after this?
Yes.
Right.
It's almost 11 o'clock.
So that's early.
It's early? Can I go to bed? It's an incredible work ethic. You guys should be really, really proud of yourself. Do good people come up to you and say thank you for doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. There are people in the State Department that will stop you, or all of the agencies that we've been to, that will stop you in the hallways or write emails and say, I was scared to write this, or I don't know if you're interested in this. But they usually have great ideas. And if they often have the best ideas because they've worked in the places and they've been stifled by the bureaucracy for so many years. So one of the great things that, at least in my experience, that we listen to them. and empower them.
So
yes, in fact, I'd like to emphasize that because we'd like to just give a big thank you to all the government employees who are helping reduce the waste and fraud, because this is, you know, we really couldn't do it without you. So
it's a group effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not trying to sort of say all government employees are bad. That's absolutely not the case. It's just that, you know, there actually just does need to be a serious effort to reduce the waste and fraud. And we're just making it happen. And a lot of people in the government are very glad to see it happen.
I think it's really important to recognize every single person around this table that's embedded within an agency is supporting that agency, whether they're working on systems or working through people. We are encountering droves of government employees who are missionaries, not mercenaries, who are actually here serving because they believe in what they're doing. They want to do things well. We are trying to empower them, and they feel empowered now to ask the question of why? Why aren't we doing this? What else can we be doing? How can we fix this? And I think agency by agency, it is filled with exceptional government employees, right? And when we give them the tools, when we give them the systems, and we leave behind systems to help them do their jobs better, that's the permanent change, right? And they're embracing that, not because it's new to them, it's because it's something they've always wanted to do. But for the first time ever, we're giving them the tools and the collaboration to be able to do that.
It's a very important message.
Yeah.
That message needs to get out a lot more. I'm so glad you said that.
We have exceptional people at all of our agencies. Exceptional. I mean, they do a thankless job and they work incredibly hard.
I love to hear how collaborative it is with these people in these agencies, and it's not all conflict. Sometimes in the media, you always hear about conflict, and you guys are considered these ruthless suits that come in and scare people, but it's conflict is the exception.
There is conflict, but that is the exception. It's actually true of history in general. You know, people study the wars a lot, but actually most of the time there wasn't war.
It's just not as exciting.
It's just not as exciting.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, for the TV guys, we like conflict, but in this case, we love the collaboration. So thank you guys. Thanks for allowing me this access in here. You guys are just really, really bright, young, smart patriots. And you have a great team. And thank you, Elon, for everything you've done for the country. We really appreciate it. We're eternally.
I think that's really, really good to see them actually thanking these people, because they really are trying to save our country. And I wish more people could see it that way. But just to know that a young person is stopping their schooling of going to Harvard so that they could do this shows me that he wants to have something to leave for his children one day and his grandkids or whatever. Because I can tell you right now, all our grandparents didn't realize. I can tell you right now, when they went to work and worked hard and brought home their money to try to raise their families up, they didn't think that the money was being wasted like this. I honestly can tell you that. I really believe that a lot of this crazy stuff that's going on wasn't anything they planned or thought would happen. So I just wanted to say that. But let's see. Is it this one? I think, yeah, here's something I thought was interesting. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this, but this is a young woman, and she's giving you numbers about what's going on in different countries. And this is in Europe. But one day it's going to be here, because everything that happens over there eventually comes here, right? So I thought this was interesting, and I thought it's only 2 minutes long, but I thought that you could listen to it and think about it, about where we will be in the future because of this. So listen.
Amsterdam currently consists of 56% migrants. The Hague, 58% migrants. Rotterdam, almost 60% migrants. And of course, most of these immigrants come from non-Christian, non-Western, African and Middle Eastern countries. Conclusion, the Dutch population is already outnumbered in the majority of our cities. But let's look onwards. London, 54% migrants. Again, conclusion, native population outnumbered. Brussels, color me shocked, 70% migrants. Conclusion, native population majorly outnumbered. And other Europeans will, of course, follow suit soon if they haven't already. So I'm going to draw the forbidden conclusion here. The Great Replacement theory is no longer a theory, it's reality. And what's interesting about replacement is that the establishment will either deny its existence, or when they admit to it, they say that it's a good thing that the native European population is soon no longer a majority on its own continent. Dutch national disgrace and dubbed climate pope Frans Timmermans already stated in 2015 that diversity is humanity's destiny and that Europe will be diverse. And of course, by now, I think we all know what they mean with the word diversity. It means less white people, less of you. Imagine this in an Asian or an African country. Imagine their leaders rejoicing in the fact that their people will soon no longer be a majority in their own country. Absolutely unthinkable, unimaginable. So what in the world is wrong with our leaders?
Okay, I just wanted you guys to listen to that. And the reason why is if we're bringing all these people into our countries that do not assimilate, right? Okay, they don't have to speak English. They don't even have to get jobs, basically, because they think that we're going to pay for them from cradle to grave and take care of them. But the whole time, they're not the same religion as we are. Or it doesn't really matter, I don't guess, if they don't try to force their religion upon another. But when you go from a Christian nation where pretty much if you don't believe in any religion, you're not forced to believe it as a Christian, right? You're not put into a camp or whatever and made to believe whatever our government supposedly believes in, because we have freedom of religion in our country, which means it doesn't matter what religion you are. You can be a Wiccan, you can be a Protestant, you can be a Catholic, you can be a Muslim, you can be an American Indian and believe in just the spirits or whatever. You can believe in anything you want, okay? And you have the right to do that. But what happens when it changes to like a Muslim country where women have to wear hijabs? Because if I show my wrist, I am now a threat and I deserve to die or be beaten in the streets or be stoned to death because I'm immoral and I'm causing the men to do immoral things because I'm showing too much skin. Okay. That's on me now. I don't have any rights because I might incite a man to do something that against what he believes is his right. Okay. So it takes away my right as a woman because now I'm forced to live in a Muslim country, even though I was born and raised here. Now I'm forced to live under their thumb. That's not freedom. Okay. So I'm looking at it as a woman and I'm thinking about it as a mother of two daughters myself. I don't want that for my daughters. And I don't think that most people want that for their children either, especially if you are not that religion. And my religion doesn't force anyone to believe what I believe. So I don't know. This whole thing about going in and taking over countries, which is what they're doing, made me start looking around and seeing, wow, how many mosques there are coming up here, there, and everywhere in every single state. They're now in a lot of cities, they're doing the 5 times a day where they do this horn and people have to get down on the ground on their little rugs and do their prayer, which is fine. But when you do it in the middle of somewhere and you're stopping people from going to work, or you're stopping people from driving, or you're stopping and impeding other people's lives, that's no longer freedom. for the people who don't have that religion. So it isn't right for any one person's religion to take over another person's religion. And it's not right to push other people out of the way simply because they don't believe the same thing as you do. You know what I mean? So you should have the right to do that in your own church, not out on the street, and not where everybody in their brother in the town have to hear your sirens going off. Now, I live in a state where we have sirens every Wednesday at noon, and it's emergency sirens for like tornadoes, other disasters or emergencies that might need to be known. When we hear that siren, we know that something's happening, right? And certain procedures, things you have to do. But if you had to hear that 5 times a day, every single day, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to the people who don't want to hear it. But it's just like if I smoke and I go and sit by you in a non-smoking area and I smoke anyways, and I blow my smoke all over you, I'm forcing you to have to breathe in my smoke against your will. That is wrong, and I should get in trouble for it because I don't have the right to do that. But if we don't do something to keep our rights, we're going to lose. And the people that are taking your rights away, they're going to be happy, but you're not going to be happy anymore. So we need to start looking around and seeing what's happening in our towns and our communities and in our states to make sure that we stay free and we fight for everyone to have freedom. And I just thought that was important. That's why I wanted to share that. But here's another thing I thought was pretty interesting when I saw it come across my timeline. Let me see if I can make sure I got it. I think this might be it. Oh, yeah, this is another one. It's good. So here we go. I follow Gunther Eagleman, and he has some pretty good stuff on his X account. And he also has a Twitter, not a Twitter, but a TikTok account too. But I thought this was pretty good. So I'm going to play this for everybody so you can listen to this.
Reversed. So it's a lot of what's been found is already there. But the thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that, in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually U.S. funded and leads to this dangerous kind of research that in many examples has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya and look forward to being able to share that hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link,
correct, between the gain of function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary because, just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right. Under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then strong-armed and smeared people like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, anybody who came out and said, I don't know if that's natural. This actually smacks of lab.
And the reason why this is so important is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain of function research is happening in biolabs around the world. Mm-hmm. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it on your show before, when I warned against US-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released could create another COVID-like pandemic. And for that, I was called a Russian asset. You're, trumpeting Putin's talking points, all of this nonsense, simply for speaking the truth and stating facts that, by the way, are still on U.S. Embassy Ukraine's website today about how the U.S. has funded these biolabs in Ukraine. But my point is, in order to prevent another COVID-like pandemic or another major health incident that could affect us in the world, we have to end this gain of function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Can I just ask you one other question on that? Why did the intelligence community, why were they so reluctant to just say that? You know, under Joe Biden, it was split. The FBI eventually said, well, we kind of think it was a lab, and Department of Energy said lab. But then the other agencies were like, no, we think more natural origin, long past the point when it did not look like natural origin. They tested 80 or 90,000 animals. They never found this version of the virus. So what was going on with the intel community there?
It's a good question, and I don't have a specific answer to it, but I want to point to the contrast of how in some cases they are very unwilling to come to express a view or a certain opinion on something, and in other cases, even if they don't have decisive or conclusive evidence per se, they're very quickly to come to an assumption. And this gets to the real heart of the challenge here, and the problems that we've seen is the politicization of intelligence to meet a certain objective or to influence a certain policy. And that is what has been the problem. This goes all the way back to why this organization was founded. When you look at the so-called intelligence that really was used to spur the Iraq regime change war, and look at what that has cost our country in lives, in treasure. Look at what it's cost the world. Look at what Iraq is today, now essentially a proxy of Iran, when Iraq, that would not have happened had that regime change war not occurred.
That's right.
So again, this is really what is at the heart of what needs to be addressed within the intelligence community, and why leadership matters so much.
Just as a reminder to our audience, you were a young 21-year-old.
Yeah, that it was pretty good to finally starting to see little bits and pieces of what all of us were already talking about the origins of the whole thing with COVID. And that, remember when they first started going into, when Russia first went into Ukraine, and we kept saying, people like me were saying that we thought it was interesting how Russia didn't just carpet bomb people and stuff like that. They went into six strategic areas. Now, why would they do that? Unless they went in there thinking there was a threat of something. Because remember, during the the Cuban Missile Crisis, when Russia was trying to put missiles in Cuba, and we said, hell no, you ain't doing that, because that's too close to our border. It's too close. We wouldn't be able to defend ourselves if they decided to strike a bunch of missiles from there at that close of a distance. So we said no, and we threatened them, right? And it worked. So they removed them. But the thing is, why would we have the right to do basically the same thing to Russia, by right on their border, basically in these labs, putting a deadly virus there, knowing that it's going to probably leak out and it could kill millions of people and go flying through the air or whatever. So to me, they had the same right to defend themselves as we did during that. I'm not saying I'm for Putin hurting people or whatever else, but the thing is that every country has the right to defend themselves from another country, and we do it. So why wouldn't we give the same right to another country to defend themselves from another country? So I don't know. I just wanted to share that, because we don't hear that enough. We're not hearing anybody really tell us the truth about what we already suspected, and to let us know that it's no longer a conspiracy theory, that it was made in a laboratory and that our country was involved in making it. And I think that's important. Okay, I think this is the other one I wanted to share. Okay, this is the whole thing about the Biden-Harris administration and our own HHS to overall global elite child trafficking rings. Okay. I think it was RFK Jr. was talking about this the other day, and he opened the lid about it. But I wanted to share this video basically about it. Let me see if I can get it to work.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
See, it's terrible. And we've been talking about this for a while, at least I have, because I'm a huge advocate for anyone who's trafficked. I don't care if it's an old woman, old man, young boys, young girls, anyone, because slavery is outlawed now. Nobody should be a slave to anyone else, no matter what. And any person that keeps a slave should be prosecuted. And anyone that would abuse children in that method, using children for sex slaves, is not somebody that can ever be rehabilitated. Okay. That isn't someone you can give a slap on the wrist and just put them back on the street. I mean, you just can't. We have to be able to protect our kids. Even if you do not have children, without children, we no longer exist. Because once we all die off, there's nobody left. Is that how we want to end? We want to just end one day, the last person dies alone? It's just like what happened with that movie with Tom Hanks on the island. He's all by himself. And when he dies, there's no one left. You're the last one. So we can't let that happen. And a child that should be thinking about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, things like that, shouldn't be made to perform sexual favors for an adult. Okay. That isn't a child's choice. That's being forced into doing something against their will, because they wouldn't choose that because they're a child. They don't understand what they're being forced to do. And I'm telling you that's got to end. We've got to start fighting for our kids. And I'm just sick of it. I'm so sick of seeing it and reading about it and seeing how little time these people get. Because if you didn't have a person that's willing to pay to have sex with a kid, you wouldn't need people to provide kids, would we? And you know what? You can sell a drug. Say, here's some pill. I can sell you this pill, and you can only sell it one time. But how many times can you sell a kid? Multiple times a day, sometimes 30 times a day. And then you have a kid that looks at you and begs you to kill him as a 6-year-old child. It's disgusting. And I just wish we could do something more than what we're doing. It's just not enough. It's not fast enough. I want to see people go to prison, and I would like to see executions. I think a person that does that to a kid needs to be never put back on the street again, ever. They should never get out. They should get life in prison forever until they die of old age or whatever, other reason they might die in prison. But I do believe that we're it. It's up to us. If we don't do something here very soon and start holding these people accountable, we're not going to have anything left to fight for. Because if you won't even fight for your kid, then we have no humanity left. And there's no reason for us to even be here. But this was something I forgot to play earlier that I thought was very interesting, because I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do when those are out on the street? I saw this. It says a robot on a hook just activated Skynet, day one of the Terminator timeline. I just thought it was funny, so I want to share this video. It's two techno guys, basically in their warehouse or whatever, and they have a robot, and it's hanging on this hook here, and it looks like they're running some kind of tests on it or whatever. But I don't know if you guys saw this, but I wanted to play this for you because it's kind of scary but interesting. He's trying to go for that guy, trying to teach him a lesson for whatever he was doing to him. Pretty scary, if you ask me, because there's no way a normal person would be able to defend themselves against a robot of that size. And probably very, very heavy. If you think about it, oh my goodness, that was scary when I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, that would scare me to death. I don't know what I would do, but run, because you can pull your gun out and shoot at it, but I don't know if you'd be able to even take it down with a gun. It's not like it has a heart, right? And its brain is probably not even in its head if it's a robot like that. I just thought that was really scary. But, we're heading that way. I mean, we got children now that are being chosen to be on robot teams, to where they get a class, and you have a group of people, and in your class you're being taught how to program robots, how to build robots, things like that, because that is our future, whether we agree with it or not. And we can't hold our kids back. I see little kids that are like 2-3 years old playing on cell phones now in the carts at the grocery store. So that kid will probably be able to know how to code and do all kinds of stuff by the time it's an adult. And who knows what they're going to be able to do in the future. I really believe that is the future. Computers are going to be building TVs, homes, everything that we need are going to be built with computers and robots, basically. But we're going to still need people, because the people need to program the robots and build the places that the robots are going to work in, things like that, using robots to help build it. But yeah, I just think all of this stuff is very, very interesting. And you never know where all this is going to lead us. Now, I just had this one thing left that I wanted to share, and it's kind of scary, but it's happening too in the world. So this is the last thing I thought people should think about that I want to share with you. I know you may not see it every day here, but it does happen here in Muslim-run towns, basically, because we do have towns that are trying to push Sharia law. And I just was talking to somebody, because remember, I went to Texas this last week because I had a family member that passed away, and their service is on Monday, and I'm going to go back. But there are mosques popping up left and right everywhere in Texas, and seeing more and more women wearing head-to-toe hijabs. And the reason women have to cover themselves up is because the view of a woman, her face, her skin, I guess, or whatever, can cause a man to be aroused. So to keep the men from being aroused by the woman, they have to cover up. They're not allowed to show any skin at all, because it can cause a man to be aroused. And if a woman is shopping or out on the town doing stuff or whatever, and her ankle's seen, and a man gets turned on by it and he rapes her, it's her fault. Okay. And she has to have 5 people, witnesses, to prove that she wasn't at fault, to be able to use that against them in court. And if she loses, this is the kind of treatment a woman will get, because a man thought she was showing too much or whatever, and that she deserved it. And this is how they treat women. And see the crowd? The crowd is men, because women aren't allowed to just wander around in the town unaccompanied. Okay, a woman is supposed to be with her man, the man that owns her or whatever, and she's supposed to be at home. Okay, because women usually don't go to school. They can't have a job. They can't drive. There's a lot of things that women can't do because women are not good for anything except for procreation and serving others or whatever, that type of thing. So it's really sad. And if you want to know more about the religion, research it, look it up, read about it, and see whether or not you'd want your daughter. It's not such a bad religion for if you're a man, but if you're a woman, I don't recommend living this way. Unless you're born and raised in it, you don't know anything different. You wouldn't know anything different. But I know different, and I don't want to live that. I'm a Christian, and Jesus would never approve of women being treated this way. So I'm sorry, I'm already an infidel to them because I already have my own beliefs. I have my own mind and my own choice of what I want to happen in my own life and who I'd want to marry by falling in love with someone and marrying them that way, not being told because somebody gave me a goat or gave someone a goat in my family that I have to go live with this guy and at 9, or younger. You're betrothed to whoever they tell you got to go to. And they will cut off certain body parts so you no longer are able to be aroused in any way, if you know what I'm saying. So it's sad. And I just don't want this to be forced on anyone in any country, and definitely not in America, where we're supposed to be side by side and all equal, whether you're Black, Caucasian, Asian, Hispanic, whatever race you are, or what gender, a male or a female, you're still equal under the law in this country. And I want to keep it that way. And I have the right to believe what I want. And I have freedom of speech as long as I'm not threatening to hurt other people. I have the right to bear arms, which I do. I have multiple amount of weapons, and I've taken classes for my weapons. And I have a driver's license. I have a passport. I have all those things, but I earned that right because I'm an American citizen. And I do not want this to be law in my country ever. In any city for anyone to be treated like this. And I hope you don't either. So I'm done sharing that. But it's just, I wanted to give you guys something to think about. That's why I shared that other thing earlier, because it definitely shows you a small taste of how quickly you can lose your rights. We almost lost everything in 4 years of time. I mean, look how many jobs left. Look how many things changed in just 4 years. And that's not very long. So if we don't get up every day and look at our flag and love our country, we won't have a country. Because many people in this country hate our country. I don't know why they stay here when they can just get a plane ticket and move to wherever they want, or get in a boat and go somewhere else and find the country they want to like and want to live there. I wish they would, because I love this country. My dad was in the military and he fought for this country. And he told his 5 daughters that the military isn't a place for a woman. I'm not a male. I don't think he was a male chauvinist pig, but because he was my daddy. But I did believe him when he said that. And none of us joined the military. So, but he taught us how to use guns. He taught us how to fish. He taught us a lot of things, how to change a tire, how to take care of ourselves. And I'm thankful for that. Because if I'm ever get a flat on the side of the road or whatever, I can change my tire. I know how to do that. There's a lot of things that my daddy taught me because he cared about me, because he loved me. And I wish more people would look at their loved ones and say, I want to make my child or my wife or my husband understand that if something ever happens, I want them to be able to take care of themselves if I die or if I'm no longer here. Can they cook? Can they sew a hole in their shirt or their pants? Can they fix things around their house? change a light bulb. There's a lot of things that you take for granted that someone else is going to do it. But what if you're alone? What if you're by yourself? Who's going to do that for you? There's books out there. There's libraries you can go to and research how to fix things, do things for yourself. I think we need to all learn to become a little bit more self-efficient. Okay, that this is my opinion. Okay, I'm not saying you have to do anything. I'm not trying to force my opinion on you. I'm just recommending that if you could do things for yourself and you get up every day and you try to learn something new and do more for yourself and not be relying on everyone else to take care of you, we're all going to be better off. I really do believe that, because many, many years ago, when we didn't have all the things, the technologies that we have now, guess what? We survived. People still had families. People still got to work. People still went to church. People still did things when we didn't have electricity. And I think we could still do it this time. If something did happen, we would be able to survive. But if you don't know how to take care of yourself and there's no one there to take care of you, what are you going to do? So I just want you to think about that, because I really think that if something did happen in the next, few years or whatever, because they wanted to get even, because we love our country, the 77 million of us that didn't vote in the other side of the aisle, we all have targets on us. They hate us. I used to have a bumper sticker on my car. I didn't buy it. My mom gave it to me. She put it on my car, and it said, "I'm proud I didn't vote for the dope from Hope." I think you know who that means. It was a Bill Clinton sticker or whatever. And I remember going shopping with my mom and coming out of the store, and it was peeled off, laying on the ground. Someone had peeled it off my mother's car and laid it on the ground, or threw it down on the ground because they were mad, because they didn't like that she had that on her vehicle. But my mom had the right to have that on her vehicle, right? And guess what? She had more in her glove box. And when I asked her, "Why do you have so many in your glove box?" she said, "Because every time she goes to certain areas, someone peels it off and or scratches it off or whatever, and while she's not there at work or whatever." So she bought a bunch of them so she could just keep replacing it, because my mom is very stubborn. So maybe that's where I get it from. But yeah, I miss my mom a lot. But she tried to get all of us girls to be able to do a lot of things on our own: how to shoot a rifle, how to skin a squirrel, how to skin a rabbit, how to clean a fish, just lots of things like that, because one day we might need to do these things on our own, and we can't just sit around and think that someone else is going to do it for us, because we're not always going to have someone there. And I'm so glad I learned how to crochet. Even though I was a tomboy, I was the only girl out of my family, out of 5 daughters, that learned how to crochet. And I'm proud of that, because guess what? I've made tons of blankets. I've made tons of things for other people because my mother taught me how to crochet. It was the one thing that my mom got to, do with me as a girl, I guess, instead of me being with my dad, fishing and camping and hiking and things like that with my dad, because I was a tomboy, and my sisters always did the frilly stuff. So I was surprised that none of them wanted to learn how to crochet, but I'm thankful I did. There's so many things out there that we can do and become self-efficient. And that's the same thing that Trump is trying to do for our country, I think, is to make our country self-efficient, because we shouldn't ever rely on another country to provide us medicine. I mean, honestly, think about it. If they hate us enough and they make all of our medicines for high blood pressure or other ones, diabetes, things like that, and they send it over here, how do we know they haven't put some synthetic something in it, to hurt us? Because we have no place else to get the drugs. So if we make our own drugs, we never have to worry about that, do we? So just little things like that, to me, is common sense, to take care of our own people first, America first. And once we're strong, then we can help other people in other countries. Once we're taking care of our veterans and our homeless and the other downtrodden people in our country. Once we're done with that, then we can take the extra money that we have earned and worked hard for, cleaned up, bound, whatever, and then we can start helping other people. That's how, that to me is common sense. But it seems like we're seriously lacking that on half of our country, basically. But thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I'm sorry that the rest of my panel were sick or tired or whatever and had to leave me, but I don't care. I needed to do this. I've not had a very good week, and Monday's not going to be fun. It's going to be very sad, but I'm still going to go and be there and support my family for my loved one that passed away. And he's going to have a beautiful service because he was military. He was a pilot. And we're going to have a full military honors memorial service for him. And I'm excited about it. But the only sad thing that I'm looking at the most is seeing people I haven't seen in a very long time in my family. And it's sad that we have to wait till someone dies to make the effort to try to see each other. That's sad. And I wish it wasn't like that either. But thank you for so many people, telling me they were sorry for my loss and things like that. And we have lost a lot of people, and we're going to lose a lot more here in the next year, I think, from cancer and heart attacks and strokes, things like that. But I'm praying for our country, and I'm still fighting for her. I'm speaking out, trying to get people to fight to keep her and take her back away from the people that wanted to see it destroyed. So I just want to say thank you to everyone again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I think I'm going to play Pathfinder tomorrow. If everybody else can play, I don't know. I didn't get to play last Saturday, so I don't know who's going to be able to be available or not. But hopefully I'll get to play, because I really need something fun to do before I drive back to Texas on Sunday. So I just want to say thank you again, and have you guys have a wonderful weekend, and hug your family and your loved ones. God bless America.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make